I'm Ruxandra. I'm the mother of two. I have a 2-year-old and an 8-year-old. I raised them in, well, different manners because fortunately I got the chance to learn a lot of things during this time and maybe correct the mistakes that I made with my first son. I write on my blog, and I got the chance to do the things I do on my blog twice a week for a TV show. So this is a wonderful thing for my soul, basically, and my mind also. You answered many of the possible questions I could have had today, and well, through your books and through the events that you participated here. But I would like to bring into discussion today an issue. Well, I don't know if it's exactly a question, but it's an opportunity to discuss something. There is a common belief here in Romania among our grandparents and our parents. They say when it comes to babies, let the baby cry. He will develop his lungs this way. So it is considered to be a healthy habit to let him cry, to postpone well, picking him up whenever he cries. Postpone this as much as you can. Not only will he be healthier this way, but he will be more independent. You will be a happier mother, the mother of an independent child, yes. Several people told me this with my second child, and this happened, well, 2 years ago. He's just 2 years old. So I would like to send a strong message with your help to all the mothers that read my blog. How do such behaviors of the parents and patterns in raising our children, what are their consequences, long-term consequences on our children? We do not grow independent children if we do this, but what kind of children do we actually grow, and what will these children, how will they be as adults? Yes.
So this idea, which is not just in Romania, it's all over the world, but this is an old idea that it's good for children to cry, right? My mother-in-law told me the same thing when my first child was born. And it's good for two reasons. It exercises their lungs and it makes them independent, right? So I think the first reason it exercises their lungs, I think any pediatrician can tell you that's not true. They don't need to exercise their lungs. You know, I mean, their lungs work fine. Are there some children who grew up with their lungs inadequately exercised because their parents picked them up too fast? Did those children lose the ability to speak or to run or any of the other things they needed their lungs for? I don't think so. So we know that's just not true. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the idea that it makes them independent turns out not to be true as well. And now that we understand brain development, we actually understand that this practice is harmful. Not only isn't it healthy, it's harmful. And the reason it's harmful is that the most important job of the baby is to develop trust. And that's a psychological construct, a psychological idea. But what actually happens in the brain is, we're going to go back to here's the brain stem, here's the emotional brain, here's the cortex, frontal cortex. So when a baby feels like it's an emergency, I just woke up, I'm hungry, I need food, I'm going to starve. You know, babies need food right away, right? They can go like this, you know, wake up to frantic. This part of the brain, the emotional brain, is saying, I better get food right now, and I'm going to be as noisy as possible to get that food right away, right? And that's why the human race is still here, is that human parents say, oh my goodness, I can't bear that crying, I'm going to meet that child's needs, here's the food, and the baby stops crying, and that's why the human race is still here. So what happens? So inside that brain, remember the brain, when a baby is born, the brain is very unfinished. The reason it's unfinished is that humans are very adaptable. The brain needs to adapt to the environment in which the child finds itself, right? So the brain will grow differently depending on whether you have a parent who comes right away and picks the child up and feeds them, or a parent who says, exercise your lungs some more so you're more independent. Wait a little bit before I feed you, right? Yes. So let's look at what happens in the brain. When you pick the child up and you feed the child right away, this part of the brain calms down because soothing neurotransmitters are released inside the child's body. Oh, there's food. Okay. I'm not going to starve to death. This person loves me. They're taking care of me. When I cry, I can count on this person to come and take care of me and to feed me. It's so great. I love being in the world. I can trust this place. The world's a good place. People are good to you, right? People meet your needs. I like being alive. These are some good things for a child to learn. As those neurotransmitters are going through the body, they are developing the neural pathways from the cortex to settle down the limbic system, so that next time the child cries, there's some information up here that says, I vaguely remember someone took care of me last time I was hungry. I'm pretty hungry right now. I'm still crying, but oh, she walked in the room. That's the one who feeds me. Okay, I could stop now. I see she's taking off her shirt. She's opening her shirt. Yeah, I can stop crying now. It's coming, right? All of a sudden, the child's learning is allowing him to rein in that upset. And he's growing, because there are all those neurotransmitters in the body saying, okay, it's going to be fine. Now he has to grow. The way neurology works, a neurotransmitter has to have some place to connect to. That's how nerves work. So now he's growing the neural receptors for those neurotransmitters. So there are more neuroreceptors for those positive neurotransmitters. So we now know this baby is growing the ability to soothe himself when he's upset. So when he is 3 and he falls down at the playground and he hurts his knee and he's like, ah, my world's about to end, I'm gonna die. He looks up and he sees mom walking toward him, or dad walking toward him across the playground. He's like, okay, someone's gonna take care of me, it's really gonna be fine. All those neurotransmitters are now released in his body, and he's going, okay, I trust that someone's gonna, I've got backup here. I'm not alone. I can do anything. I've got backup, right? That's resilience. That's what we want our child to learn, trust. Now, what about that baby who was allowed, exercise your lungs before I come? What happens to that baby? Limbic system is like, it's an emergency, no one takes care of me. I better cry as much as I can, as loud as I can, whenever I can, or no one's gonna meet my needs. That's the child who, by the time they're 12 months old, walks up to the kitchen counter, points to what's on it, and screams at the top of their lungs, because they don't have any confidence you're gonna give it to them. Now, all children might do that, but if you immediately respond and say, oh, you want the cup? Say, cup, please, and I can give you the cup. You don't make them say, cup, please, but you're handing them the cup as you do it. But as you hand them the cup, you're saying, cup, please. Whereas if you say, ask me nicely, right? Again, that child has to scream louder. So when people don't feel heard, they scream louder, and they get more reactive. And so we know, if you want to grow your baby an optimal brain to be successful in life, respond to them. Responsiveness is the most important trait for children's emotional health, and therefore success in the world.
You gave us a wonderful scientific explanation. I did all these things simply by following my instinct. That apparently led me very well, because with my first child I didn't do it. I was taught, don't pick him up, let him sleep in another room. I didn't even breastfed him for too long. With my second child I did all these things, and he's a different child. And he's very confident, and he does things for himself. He doesn't cling to me. He knows that I am there for him, and the more and the quicker I responded to his needs, the more independent I realized that he became, and the more confident that he can do things for himself. So
yes, and I think when you say you followed your instincts,
yes,
but you had 2 children, and with the first one you didn't follow your instincts.
I didn't.
You did what the society told you. And here's the thing about instincts.
Yes.
We wouldn't be here as a human race if our instincts weren't good, but so often there's an overlay on those instincts that keeps us from really listening. So I think if you can really be centered in yourself, then you can follow those instincts. Otherwise, you have to wonder, are those my instincts, or is that somebody's voice in my head?
And I didn't only do what the society expected me to do, but I also did what I was taught at some very expensive classes. So I took some classes that were to prepare me to raise my child properly. And they told us exactly this: don't rush to respond to his needs. Don't let him sleep in the same bed with you. And oh, what they said, I said, oh, they must know better than I do. What can I know? I'm a first-time mom. I was scared, I was confused, and I did exactly what they told me I should do. And it wasn't the best thing for my child.
You know, I think parenting, the way we're talking about today, helps the child to develop their own inner compass so they can listen to their instincts. Mm-hmm. And it keeps them safe in the world, and it also means that when an expert, a psychologist, a doctor, anyone, tells you something, you have your own gut check on that. Yeah. And, you know, how great that you were able to learn more so that the next time you were able to do it better.